Hello all, in this session we will understand what are the basic data structures in Python programming. Again, first and foremost, we will try to understand why there is a need of data structures in Python programming. So let's try to have a high level overview of what exactly data structure is all about. Again, in general, it's all about nothing but an efficient way just to store the data. Because as we know that data science is all about data, or machine learning is all about data, it means at the end of the day you have to store data. And that's where data structures comes into picture. So in general, there are four data structures, or there are four key data structures in Python programming. The first is my list, then we have something known as dictionary, then we have something known as set, and the last one is tuple. Again, most of the time either a dictionary or list is used. Again, each and every data structure has its own use case. So let's talk about what exactly is a list. Again, in general, list is just like the array that you have. For those of you who know array, that's okay. For those of you who are from a C++ background, they have heard about something known as a vector. They have heard about something known as vectors in C++. So the implementation of this Python list is similar to the vectors in C++. Again, for those of you who are from Java background, you have something known as array list. And that's what list is all about in Python programming. Again, for those of you who do not know all these things, that's okay. So in short, list is all about the ordered collection of data. In short, it's all about the ordered collection of data. So imagine I have to store, let's say, the student names. Let's say I have to store student names of any college or of any school. I can say, okay, just define a list using this big braces, and let's say the first student name is, let's say, Shan, and then let's say we have second student name is, let's say, Saurabh. Let's say the third one is, let's say, John. So it means this is my first element. I can say, okay, this is my first element in list, this is my second element in list, and this is my third element in list, and each and every element get separated using comma. So if I will say, okay, this is my list, this is my list, does this list hold any kind of indexing? So by default, indexing is as follows. Its index is 0, this will get assigned to 1, this will get assigned to 2. If we have more elements, it will go up to so on and so forth. It means the by default index from which my list index gets started is 0. That's what you can think of. Again, there are hundreds of operations that you can think of applying on top of list. But we are not going deep dive into this because it is off topic. Now let's understand what exactly is a dictionary. So the moment I say, okay, again, in short, dictionary is all about nothing but a key value pair. It's all about a key value pair. So imagine you are a data analyst at Amazon, or let's say at Facebook, and the first task is okay, can you store the data of your Facebook users? Can you store the data of your Facebook user? I can say, okay, the data of Facebook user are as follows. Let's say in context of my data, I have a name as Shan Singh. Okay, I have some XYZ hobby, I have some educational background, and I have some set of interest. So what I can say, okay, can you store this data? I can say, okay, I can do that. So what I say is I can say, let's define a dictionary. Imagine dict1. Dictionary is defined using the curly braces. So this is how you can think of defining dictionary. So my key is first name. I will say this is my first key, and then I have some value. Let's say value Shan. Then I have second key as last name. Then I have some value, imagine Singh. Then I have some another key, let's say a key as hobby or hobbies. Then I have some set of hobbies. This is how actually you can think of storing data using dictionary. Again, that's a real world instance at where you can think of leveraging the functionality of dictionary. Again, just like we have something known as hash table in any other programming language. Dictionary is nothing but just an implementation of hash table. This is all about this. So let's talk about what is set. Let's talk about that. Again, if you want to get rid of all the duplicate values in your data, it's always good to go ahead with set. So imagine you have to store, let's say, data of student marks. Let's say student marks. And let's say we have 9 subjects. Imagine there are 9 subjects. So what I can say is, imagine there are subjects. Let's say I have a data in subjects. And let's say here I have, let's say, again, you can think of defining set. You can think of defining set using the curly braces. So imagine I have some subject 1. Here I have subject 1. Here I have subject 2. Here I have so on and so forth. So the moment I have any repeated subject over here and the moment I call a set on top of that, we can easily get rid of that. That's where you can think of using set. It means I have to store the unique subjects, and that's where you can think of utilizing a set. So now let's understand what exactly is a tuple. Again, Python tuple is a collection of Python object. It means it is much more similar like a list. But there is one more interesting property in tuple is we cannot change the values inside tuple. It means it is immutable in nature. Again, all the 3 ones, the moment we define any data structure, let's say I have a list. I have some value that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The moment I say, okay, can I modify this value? Of course, I can do that. Imagine this is a list as L1. I can say, okay, its index is 3. I can say L1 of 3, let's assign our own value. Let's say 66. The moment I do this, we will end up getting new value as 66. But the moment I do this operation, this modification operation on top of tuple, you might end up getting some kind of error as tuple doesn't support this kind of operation. So let's talk about the real world instance. Imagine, let's say in college. Imagine a college has to store the enrollment ID of all the students. The way tuple gets defined, typically using this small braces. I can say, okay, let's say I have some ideas at 16 SC1, 16 SC2, and so on and so forth. And this is something that college want, that this data doesn't need to be changed throughout the year. So hence it is always good to use a tuple in such use cases. So that's all about this session. Again, for those of you who have any doubt, kindly utilize the Q&A of the course as much as you can. That's all about it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Keep learning, keep growing, keep practicing.